Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Clinton High School, where we are ready to start Game 3 of the girls' side of the Clinton tournament brackets tonight. We are getting ready to introduce the players.
Yeah, Stacy, going to be an interesting ball game here. This is our 4-5 game, of course, and this is usually the game that, if you look at the brackets and the seeding, say, well, this could be the closest game, but you never know. And of course, these two teams have played already earlier in the year, back on January the 10th, and Warrensburg beat this Odessa team pretty handily, 63-48. So we'll give you the starters here. First for the Odessa Lady Bulldogs, led by head coach Randy Florence. They'll have starting at guard number 11, Tori Golden. She's followed by number 44, Leah Wagner. And then also starting at guard will be number 22, Nevia Bregman, and number 24, Alyssa Morris, and then Lexi Moody as well. Starters for Warrensburg Lady Tigers are led by head coach Valerie Stemberski, and their starters tonight will be number 11, Sadie Misner, number 22, that is Zoe Westfall. And then didn't see their numbers initially there when they ran out a few of them. I think we got number 35.
35.
I don't know that I have a 35.
13 was out there.
Yeah, 13 is Olivia Harrison.
And number 40, I think I saw.
We'll get those here in a sec. That's Grace Ermschurzer. So yeah, I think I'm short one. 13. Well, no, I had her.
22.
I think 25. I think Brooklyn.
Oh, I've got a number 30.
Yeah, Brooklyn Becker is out there. And then Valdez. Yeah, I think Valdez is the 5th and not Becker. So we're ready to go here. Underway. Clinton Lady Cardinals will play after this game against Hogan Prep. That'll be the 3-6 matchup. So we're glad to have you again here for our third game, as Stacy mentioned. Second day here of the Clinton tournament. Odessa's going to control the tip here and start off with the basketball. But been a little while since these two teams have played. Again, back on the 10th up at Warrensburg. And Lady Tigers won that one handily. But Odessa has played a few games since then, of course. Here's a missed three, and they try to get the follow there. Tori Golden missing the follow, but got it back a second time and puts it up and missed that one off the glass. But another offensive rebound. That's Begman, and she'll get it to go. So good job by Odessa sticking with that. They had at least 3 offensive rebounds there, and they jump up on top here 2-0. Harrison outside for Warrensburg. She'll roll it left side of the key and stripped away underneath. Here come the Lady Bulldogs up the floor. Of course, I think Warrensburg, Stacey, are they the only team in the tournament where they've got, well, Lakeland, I guess, would be the other that's got boys and girls both.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Lakeland and, of course, Clinton.
Yeah, Clinton. Yeah, Clinton as well. So you've got 3 teams, I guess, that have both their girls and boys teams in both tournaments, of course.
Last night we played the 2 boys games at the end of the night, and just the natural progression of things. Boys games move faster than girls. So I've had all this adrenaline pumping from the first 2 boys games, and I feel like I'm kind of catching my breath now.
Yeah, our first boys game tonight was a really, really exciting game. Of course, Clinton able to edge out El Dorado. Missed shot there, the corner from Morris. Warrensburg clears it out with a rebound. So Lady Bulldogs on top here, 2-0. Warrensburg looking for their first bucket. Here's a long jumper, no good, from Westfall, and then we get a whistle underneath. Or nope, actually just tipped ball out of bounds. So tipped last by Odessa. Warrensburg, there's an open look. Good play off the inbounds. Lady Tigers get one to go. Ermisher scoring that to tie it at 2. There's Morris, 3 ball in the corner, way off. Nice rebound by Warrensburg. They'll push the pace the other way. In the corner, 3 up, and that missed short from Harrison. A nice rebound, though, and back up and in on the putback. And that's 35, Stacey. We don't have a 35 on our roster.
We do not.
So we apologize. We'll see if we can get that from Charlie Brown, who's over there doing the game for Warrensburg as well. But nice follow there. So 4-2. Warrensburg with their first lead, and there's a pass out of bounds. Last touch by Odessa. Tried to force that one in there a little bit. Harrison with it. Odessa, a little 2-3 zone. And they get a good look. Armshire missing that one, though, right at the basket. It's Abby King with the basketball outside here for Odessa. She'll go left corner. Begman outside now. Trying to move that Warrensburg defense around, and they're guarding the wings. It's kind of a matchup zone, basically, is what it is. And now they're going to get the steal. Oh, but a nice play. That's a good job by Lexi Moody for Odessa. She got back and knocked that ball out. Otherwise, it would have been an easy layup for Westfall. Lady Tigers will throw it in here on that low baseline. 4:30 left here in the first quarter.
Got to stop and tie our shoe.
Hey, got to have that shoe tied, that's for sure. That can be a hazard sometimes. You would never want anybody to trip like that. That could lead to an injury for sure. So good catch there by the official to stop play. So they'll be setting it up here off the inbounds look. Bregman right side of the circle. Westfall. Going to rotate it into the corner. And inside. Oh, block shot. Nice play by Golden to get the block, but they get it back out for the three, and it's good. Zoe Westfall, 5'6" senior guard, nails the triple, and Warrensburg adds to the lead at 6-2. High post look here, looking high-low. They force him to kick it back to the wing, and that shot missed by King, but they get the rebound back, and they'll reset it out top. And here's a tip and a steal and a whistle after the ball was deflected, and another foul coming up here on Lady Bulldogs. They'll give that to Begman. Be her first team foul, number 1 as well on Odessa. They're going to stay in the 2-3. There's a nice take. Westfall missing, and then they get the rebound back. Westfall got it back a second time. And shot in the lane is no good, but a foul is called as they're able to really do a good job on the glass there. Odessa having a tough time here early, rebound of the basketball, and a good job by Sadie Misner to follow that, and she'll be at the line. And the first one of 2 is good. First foul there on Tori Golden of Odessa. Second team foul. And that one good as well for Misner, 5'6" senior guard. It's a pretty experienced Warrensburg team. I think 3 of their 5 starters are seniors. And they lead here early 8-2, 3:14 to go in the first quarter. Well, matchup zone here. This is definitely a defense you don't see too often. They're fronting the post. They get out and extend on the wings. There's a missed 3 for Odessa, but they're able to get it back up there at midcourt. Dribble drive into the paint, and the shot is good. That's a nice-looking shot by Alyssa Morris. And that time Odessa was able to get a couple of big offensive rebounds. Missed 3 at the other end now for Harrison. Rebound for Odessa. They'll push. Trailing at 8-4. Top of the key entry pass is lost up there at the high post by Golden, and we get a jump ball. Possession arrow gives it back to Lady Tigers. With 2:27 to go here in our first quarter of play. So the winner of this game will play top-seeded Nevada tomorrow in the winner's bracket, as Nevada easily defeated Harrisonville in their first game the other day in the 1-8 battle. Oh, and a nice take. That's 2 more for Morris. So back-to-back buckets for her. And the lead all of a sudden has been trimmed to 2 with 1:55 to go. And we got the number there, 35. So that's Cora Perry, looks like. Nice job, Stacy. How far did you run down to a fan down there?
Warrensburg's got some of the kids up here running cameras for their system, and I just asked her.
We appreciate that. Off the inbounds look here, Warrensburg. Oh, another near steal. Boy, Warrensburg's had a tough time hanging on to the basketball here the last couple possessions. And now we get a whistle, 3-second violation on the Lady Tigers. So Odessa's kind of snuck their way back into the ball game here last few minutes. Looked like Warrensburg was really going to push it out. But Odessa's hanging tough right now. Here comes the trap. Yeah, good timing there on the trap, and they almost had the steal. And just a 2-point ball game. Of course, earlier tonight, our game before this one was our final boys game of the day, and Lakeland soundly defeated Kansas City East. The threes were flying again tonight for the Vikings. And they had big nights from Carbelow and Munsterman along with Meeker. All 3 of those guys were in double figures tonight for Lakeland. So a big win for Coach Collins' team to get to 14-3 on the season.
And that had to be a tough.
14-4, actually, I think. Sorry about that.
14-4. That's good. That's got to be a tough game for them too. They were here late last night, and then turned around and played early tonight. And wow, I mean, back to back and late nights. So
yeah, they had that tough 9 o'clock game, and that's the thing. I mean, less than 24 hours. So I told James in the broadcast in our last one, I'm like, man, they may take the day off tomorrow. They may not practice on Wednesday because they'll have to come back and play, potentially Friday and Saturday.
They might want to practice free throws tomorrow. I saw a few of those that I thought, wow, they're just not having an on night.
Yeah,
maybe
missed
tomorrow
a few.
will be free throw day.
Yeah, they missed a few, but they really did a good job defensively. I was impressed with their defense all night, and they took the KEC East post players out of that game, even though they were giving up a lot of height as well. So free throw goes down there. Alyssa Morris off to a good start for Odessa. The 5'10 senior already has 7 for them, and it's a 1-point lead for the Lady Bulldogs, and now they get a steal. Bregman out top for King. Now into the corner, dribble drive, Moody shot, missed. Rebound Morris, and 2 more for Alyssa Morris. So she leads all scorers now with 9 as we come to the end of this first quarter. 11-8. Odessa now in front. Now they try to trap on the wings there, force them to kick it back out top. Right side open look is no good for Westfall. And it's going back to Odessa, it looks like. But I think you can tell, Stacey, this team here has improved, I think, for Odessa. I mean, this was a team that got blown out by this Warrensburg team, and they really look like, just watching them, that, they've got a little more experience now, and they're playing right with this team that beat them by 20 last time. So here's a steal midcourt, and this is another steal, though. They give it right back, and Morris, and then she'll throw it right into the hands of Perry.
I'm not sure I could tell you how many times that changed possession.
That was,
about the last
3 or 4,
seconds.
right there in about a 10-second span. Went back and forth pretty quick. So final 10 seconds here of the first quarter. Ball poked away initially there. Westfall gets it back. Here's an open 3 ball for Harrison. Rattles out. And that'll take us to the end of the first quarter with a close ball game thus far. 11-8. Odessa with the slight lead. I want to thank our sponsors supporting coverage here every game of the Clinton tournament this season right here. A James Hinkle Sounds Like Video production, but we want to thank Primitive Old Crow, Oak Star Bank, the Landmark Restaurant, Jim Resick Auto Group, Hankins Grain. Also want to thank Missouri Farm Bureau Insurance Agent Aaron Collins, C² Embroidery and Screen Printing. Of course, they're also allowing us to stream live on their Facebook, one of our 6 platforms. Hobby Time Motorsports and Bernard Tax Keeping. Appreciate all of them, and want to thank also the El Dorado Springs Chamber of Commerce. We're streaming live on their Facebook, streaming live as well on the Radford Media Group YouTube page. Also, James Hinkle Sounds Like Video, Facebook and YouTube. James has all of it. You guys just have all your bases covered. You know, you got to have a YouTube page and a Facebook page. And then, of course, Landmark Restaurant and Primitive Old Crow.
You know, if I could snap pictures fast enough, we'd set up on Instagram, too. And I
just
get
snap,
it through. Snap.
Now, James, how many platforms can we stream on? How many platforms total can we stream on if we wanted to?
Definitely, we can go up to 10. And
up to 10, okay.
If we needed more, we could even do more.
Okay, wow. So it's an advantage where you can get the broadcast out to more platforms, and that's a nice deal with the system that James and his wife Stacy have, and ability to bring a lot of action your way on a lot of different sites. So out of the break between quarters here, Warrensburg will have the basketball. They got off to a quick early start, but Odessa's battled back and have a slight lead as they get it inside, and a shot is thought initially they were going to call a clean block, but they're going to give the foul there inside to Odessa. So free throws coming up here for the Lady Tigers. First one on the way, and that is going to be no good from 34 out there. Can't quite get the other number.
Not quite there.
Yeah. So foul was called on Golden, her second. That's good. Yeah, is that Barry, 34? Yeah.
Yeah.
Or Perry, I should say. Yeah, Cora Perry. She's listed as 21, and we didn't have a 34 on our roster, but that is who she is, and she got both of those. So after the free throw, the block at the other side. Good job getting back defensively for Warrensburg. That's a nice play by Misner.
And, you know, I think we have those numbers confused. I think 35 is the one we didn't have. That's Cora Perry. 34, I think, is Grace Hill.
Oh, that's Hill. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, she is on there. Yeah, I did not see that. So off the inbounds, open three, no good, and the rebound is tipped inside, and there's a nice rebound for Warrensburg. They got a 2-on-2 here. Good job. Odessa gets back, recovers, forces them to kick it back out for a three, but it's no good for Harrison. And it'll be Odessa ball here. Going to go the 1-2-2 press, trying to trap there on the angles so they get it across. Oh, and look out. Official got decked. And looks like he's all right, though, fortunately. So it's going to be Warrensburg basketball. 7 turnovers now for the Lady Bulldogs.
I got to tell you, Spencer, I'm really impressed. You can sit here and keep some stats while you're doing this. I can barely even talk while I'm trying to keep track of cameras.
Well, it's just one of those deals. You just have to, and I miss some too. I mean, that's why I always usually say unofficial. You know, my numbers aren't official numbers, obviously, but I try to keep it pretty close. But here we do have the advantage of the points being up on the board too.
Sure.
So you can get the points pretty accurate because those are the official numbers that they put up there. Of course, I think we've got that shot of the scoreboard as well that the fans can see. So tied at 11 here quickly the other way. Warrensburg has got to really find a way to slow the tempo, and right now it's playing into Odessa's hands, and we get another jump ball, and that should give it back to Odessa, and it will. Six minutes to go before halftime. That time Odessa, good job breaking the press. They have struggled with it a little bit, but for the most part, they've only turned it over 5 times. So King with it out top, all tied at 11 apiece. King left side, 3 now. Almost going to take the 3, I thought initially. Moody wanted to, now King, now Moody will drive it. Shot up, no. Front of the iron. Rebound for Warrensburg. Here's Westfall. Nice pass. Shot up and in. That's a great pass. Westfall finds Harrison, and she'll score it for 2. Warrensburg back up by 2, 13-11. 5:20 left here in the first half. King now is fouled outside. Harrison picks that one up. So her first team foul 4. Both teams right now 4 team fouls apiece. So foul calls have been pretty even both ways, and this is just kind of a game where the momentum's up for grabs right now. One team is trying to seize it right at this point, midway of the second quarter. Timeout, Odessa. So Coach Florence going to talk it over with his team. Of course, it was a big year, Stacy, for Odessa High School. Their football team won state.
They did
this year. So want to congratulate them. Of course, we saw them. We actually saw them a couple times. I think Clinton played them in the regular season, and then unfortunately had to go play them in the district.
Absolutely.
And so I think me and Doug were doing that game, and I told Doug, I said, you know, you could tell Odessa was a team that had the ability to make a run in the state playoffs, and they did, and they went up to Columbia and won state. So congratulations to them. And, of course, speaking of football, I don't know if James has mentioned this yet or not. He may have in the Clinton game, but Kevin Lefevre is the new head football coach. That was announced today here at Clinton High School.
You know, you can't help but be excited by that.
Oh, absolutely. Here's a nice shot, 3-ball, nothing but net for Lexi Moody. Odessa back on top, 14-13. So, yeah, Coach Lefevre, he is a Clinton alum, and they are very excited to have a guy who has been very successful just in the last 2 years as he's taken Lincoln to back-to-back state titles at the 1A level. They got very, very close to winning one this year as they narrowly lost to Valley Catholic. So he leaves a program in Lincoln that was at the top of the bar, and now will try to rebuild Clinton's program. And he knows, I mean, he'll have his work cut out for him, but he's excited to be back at his home school, and that's always a neat deal. And Clinton going in, of course, to the new conference next year, so it'll be a tough schedule. But he'll be ready for it, and he's ready to get going in the summer with those kids for football.
Absolutely. And now that we have a conference, and so we can start to build around teams we know we're going to face in the future on a regular basis.
Right.
I think it's a little bit easier to start that rebuilding process. Before then, it was hard to tell sometimes what teams we were going to play, and there are some of them that you knew you weren't going to play with, but you wanted to compete somewhere. So it's kind of a double bonus. You get to sort of get some stability in your future on who you're going to face, and you get a new coaching staff and a new outlook. So
yeah, that's a very important point, because you have a situation where the schedule's more predictable. The teams are going to be a little bit closer for Clinton. They did have some trips these last few years. There's another 3 for Moody, so they're getting hot right now. Odessa is. They lead at 17-13, their largest lead of the ball game thus far. And here's a foul. Nice dribble drive by Westfall, so she'll be at the free throw line for the Lady Tigers.
Foul number 24.
Morris picks that one up, so just her first. So Moody has 6, Morris has 9 to lead the way for Odessa thus far. So they've accounted for most of their points. And second one on the way. Westfall missed that one. And Moody had the rebound initially, but then we get a whistle and a foul called. And they're going to give it to Cora Perry. They're going to stay with the full court pressure as well here, it looks like. Odessa trying to get it full length. Watch this trap. As soon as they come to midcourt, good job they're getting it. They had the guard to spread wide enough to where they kept it out of the double team at the midcourt line, but they end up throwing it away. That's one of those tough breaks. You break the pressure, but then, you're still not able to get into your half-court set.
she almost looked like she was passing to that Kansas City East team from yesterday.
And out top, it'll be Westfall with it. And another foul coming up. So we've had our share of fouls thus far. Still 3:04 to go in this first half. That'll get Odessa up to 7 team fouls. Warrensburg in a bonus right now. Substitution into the game for Warrensburg will be Olivia Harrison. And now we have a stoppage of play.
Foul on number 32, Kimberly Maxwell for the Tigers.
They gave it to Maxwell.
Team 6.
So it'll be Odessa ball. Final 3 minutes here of the first half. Here comes King. They split the press. Good pass inside. Good look.
She was wide open down there.
That is Wagner. Leah Wagner, her first points of the night. And it's 19-13. Odessa adds to the lead. So it's pretty much all Warrensburg early on, but it's been pretty much all Odessa here in the second quarter. Warrensburg struggled shooting the basketball here, particularly from 3, and another forced turnover. Wagner the steal, and then is going to get fouled.
Foul number 32.
That's Maxwell picking up another one. And it'll be a full timeout, so Maxwell picks up number 2.
Full timeout, Warrensburg.
Full timeout for the Lady Tigers. And again, want to thank our timeout sponsor, Missouri Farm Bureau Insurance agent Aaron Collins, here locally in Clinton. So right now, Stacy, Warrensburg just kind of out of a rhythm. That's the thing with Odessa. They've been able to keep them off balance a little bit. It's been a situation where Warrensburg just hasn't got a lot of good looks to this point. And they've been to the free throw line a few more times than Odessa has. But otherwise, Odessa's kind of slowed the tempo down a little bit. And but Warrensburg just not shooting the ball real great. You know, they've missed several shots in a row. So they're in one of those stretches where they're just trying to get their offense going a little bit.
And they're having a little bit of trouble with turnovers, too.
Yeah, they're definitely not taking care of the basketball as much as Coach Stamberski would like. So she's down there talking to her team. But we did see the Warrensburg boys last night, fall behind a little bit. But again, I mean, the deficit is not insurmountable at all by any means.
Sure.
I mean, you're only down 19-13, so they haven't shot at the best, but they're still obviously right in this game with a lot of time to go. 1-and-1 here at the line, and missing the front end of that was Wagner. It'll be Warrensburg ball. And the winner of this goes to the winner's bracket round, and they'll see a very good Nevada team who took care of business the other night against 8th-seeded Harrisonville, who was just overmatched in that game. That was the 1-8 battle. And then, of course, our nightcap after this one will be Clinton, the Lady Cardinals in action against Hogan Prep. And the winner of that will move on to take on Adrian in the other girls' semifinal. And, again, those will both be played tomorrow night, again, weather permitting. I know there is a chance of some weather, so they'll have to wait and see if they can get those games in tomorrow. And Moody will set it up here in the half court for the Lady Bulldogs as they look over to Coach Florence to get the play in. Coming up on a minute left here. King for 3, and that's no good. Rebound, good hustle, Moody. Oh, but she was out of bounds. Yeah, she had both feet out of bounds there, but still a good hustle for the loose ball. And this is a pretty experienced Odessa team. I think they've got 4 of their 5 starters, it looks like, were seniors. So both teams pretty experienced. As a 3 goes down, nothing but net for Nevia Bregman. And that'll cut it into the lead down to 19-15.
I think I almost expected a little bit more of an Odessa lead at this point. And I guess that just goes to show you can't really have expectations beforehand. You know, I've seen both of these teams play earlier in the season, and I just thought that Odessa would dominate a little earlier and a little quicker in the ball game.
Yeah, Odessa just hasn't been able to push the lead out. You know, they've had a lead, but they haven't been able to extend it. And Warrensburg just kind of hung in there. 3-ball, and that'll change things. So a quick couple of threes for Bregman, and those are 2 big shots. And just like that, it's back to 1 here in the final 30 seconds of the first half. Steal, that's a nice job in there by Maxwell for Warrensburg to get the steal. Shot at the other end is up and in. So Warrensburg, just like that.
Wow.
Man, that's changed in probably 2 minutes, if that. And they've got the lead back by 1. 14 seconds to go in the half, and a blocking foul out top. They're going to get that on Harrison. Her second be team foul number 8 on the Lady Tigers.
When you think about the number 4, the number 5 seed in the tournament, I guess, you know, the expectation should have been, in my mind, for a really close game. And I guess.
Yeah. Well, of course, we were just judging off of their previous matchup. You know, I mean, Warrensburg beat this Odessa team 63-48 back on January 10th. So, you know, going on that factor, the fact that they'd already played, but you can definitely tell this Odessa team has gotten a lot better, and Moody and Morris, you know, they're solid players. They're definitely a big reason why Odessa's only down or now up 1, even though they have led most of the half. And now a play at the other end. Boy, crashing out of bounds was Bregman there. They're going to say that was a tough call because both players were right there, and they're going to give that to Warrensburg underneath. And that'll be the end of the first half. So good ball game, 1-point game here at halftime. And a slight lead for Warrensburg at 20-19. Warrensburg didn't get the lead back until right here at the half. They knocked down back-to-back threes. Bregman, a couple big ones there, and that's the difference in the ball game. And I think Warrensburg probably feels like they could be ahead by more had they not turned it over so much. And then they went through that spurt there, about a 4-minute stretch where they didn't shoot it very well at all. But they picked up across the board, pretty balanced scoring. Warrensburg had 2 in the first half from Westfall. Maxwell finished with 4. And Ermshire, which we didn't see a lot of her, she played very early but got a couple of early fouls, and she picked up 4 in the first half. And Harrison with 3. And really for Odessa, the bulk of the scoring was Morris and Moody. Morris had a total of 9 in the first half for the Lady Bulldogs, and 6 for Moody. So both those players doing a nice job, and then 2 for Wagner. So this is going to be anybody's game going into the second half, and definitely may come right down to the wire. Again, we want to thank our sponsors tonight: Primitive Old Crow, Oak Star Bank, the Landmark Restaurant, Jim Marisic Auto Group, Hankins Grain, Missouri Farm Bureau Insurance Agent Aaron Collins, C-Squared Embroidery and Screen Printing, Hobby Time Motorsports, and Bernard Tax and Bookkeeping. So the losers bracket round will feature Lakeland Thursday night. That will be the 6 o'clock game. They'll play the loser of this next one coming up, which will be Clinton and Hogan Prep, and then the loser of this game will play Harrisonville Thursday at 4:30. And then you take a look at the pool play action, which that's what the boys tournament is. It's a 6-team field. They will be playing tomorrow night as well. You'll have a couple more games. Grandview Christian will play Clinton at 7:30, and then Kansas City East will have to turn around and come back and play Warrensburg at 9. And we won't know until after tomorrow, Stacy, how that final 4 will shake out. But you're probably going to have to win at least 2 games. Well, you will have to win 2 games to get to the final. And then obviously they've got a situation where they'll have a head-to-head tiebreaker if you've got teams with the same wins, and then they'll also do a total margin of victory by 13 points, and then the coin flip, which is obviously extremely unlikely. So they're going to do a fifth-place game out of that, which would be the teams with the 2 worst records, basically is what it boils down to, would play in the fifth-place game.
And you got to think, El Dorado Springs had a tough loss yesterday to Grandview Christian, then lost again here today to Clinton. So we're probably going to see them in that fifth-place game.
Yeah. Yeah, that would be a potential situation, but everybody else would technically still be in the hunt, because nobody has won 2 games yet, I don't believe, on the boys' side.
No.
Because El Dorado, they were the first team, well, and Lakeland as well. Those 2 teams both each had a chance to win 2, but El Dorado, of course, lost tonight, and then lost, as you said, the other night. And then I guess Lakeland was the team that
Lakeland split it.
That split, yeah. And so they'll be in the hunt after tonight. And they feel like they should have been 2-0, no doubt, but lost that tough one last night to Warrensburg, but battled back. So we'll have to see how those matchups shake out. The KC East Warrensburg game tomorrow is an interesting matchup. KC East didn't play very well tonight, but partly that was because Lakeland played really, really well, obviously at both ends of the floor. And then that'll be, I think, a good matchup between Clinton and Grandview Christian. I mean, we saw El Dorado give Grandview Christian a good game for a half, and then they kind of pulled away. I think Grandview Christian's size will give Clinton some problems, certainly, because they've got those 2 6'7" kids in there. So it's going to be interesting to see if Clinton plays zone like El Dorado did in that game. They played that 2-3 all night against those 2 6'7" post players. And
you got to think things are a little bit tougher for Clinton right now with the loss of one of their players, and so now they're having to adjust and sort of step back and kind of rethink some of the things they've been doing as a team. And it's great to see them have some success with their games this week, but you got to think that's a difficult situation to be in.
Yeah, it no doubt is, and of course me and James were talking. This was just a huge win tonight for the Clinton boys. They'd lost, I think, 8 or 9 in a row. They hadn't won a game since November. Their only win was in that Warsaw tournament. So they needed this win tonight in the worst kind of way, and they got it. And you just can't say enough about how hard they played down the stretch. They hit some clutch threes. They hung in it all the way, and that's where they were down, but they were within striking distance, which is what you want. It's not like they got behind 20. They were right there. They just needed to knock down a couple shots, and they did, and then they hit their free throws. I was really impressed there because it was one of those games that came down to free throws, and they did a good job. Markham and Montagna hit them there, and it kept it a 2-possession game. So you made Eldo have to have it a couple of times there, and that put the pressure on them, and they couldn't hit a shot there. Eldo just went ice cold from 3, but big win tonight for the Clinton boys, and that snaps the losing skid, and that can be a game, too, that you build off of. That could be a spark, that lights the fuse, so to speak.
Oh, yeah. Well, and it's always nice when you can win at home as well. You've got more of your crowd here, more of your band, your cheerleaders. You just have more interaction when you're at home, and so I think it just feels a little bit better when you can bring a win in when you're on your home field. Yeah,
it no doubt does, and of course the Clinton fans will be coming back into the building a little bit later. Clinton girls, of course, out there right now warming up here at halftime, and be an interesting matchup. Again, we don't know a lot about Hogan Prep. Clinton girls, though, have had a pretty good year. I think they're up to 6 wins now. Somewhere in there, I think they're sitting right around the 500 mark.
I was thinking that maybe 6 or 7.
6 or 7, yeah. But they've played tough schedule. They lost to a really good Boonville team. They lost to a really good Nevada team. Mm-hmm. So you got to factor those 2 games in particular in. Those are 2 pretty good teams. They beat a good California team early in the year. So they're playing some good basketball. Of course, Mia Mills having a great season as a senior. She scored over 1,000 points earlier this year. Yeah. So having a good year. And they got other players, too. Maddie Allard having a good year out there at guard. Olivia Kiley has played well. So, they got some girls that can play. And I think this is an important game for them because you want to certainly the goal is to win your own tournament. You know, you'd love to be able to do that, and you might get to take on Nevada again if you get there. Now, you know, you don't want to get too far ahead, but you got to win tonight. Then you'd have to beat Adrian, which I'm really intrigued by that matchup if they end up playing Adrian, and then might get to see Nevada then in the championship.
Absolutely. And, you know, that Nevada team has been ranked in the coaches poll every single time they've run the poll this year. So, you know, when you're in the Clinton position and you see that on the horizon, you know, you just can't wait to put yourself out there and see how well you can do by somebody that's already getting the attention of the coaches.
And that was a game, of course, I think you guys had it as well on video. That, you know, that was a game Clinton led a decent chunk of that game, and Nevada, as a lot of times good teams do, you know, they kind of put on a late run and won it. It was a 3 or 4 point game, though.
It was very close.
It was really close. So that says a lot. You know, Clinton has the ability to play with a top 10 in the state team, and quite frankly, they played with Skyline, who's a really solid team. You know, they were hanging tough with them back in November. They played them in the Warsaw tournament and then actually saw them again in the regular season and played them fairly close. So they've played some of those teams tough. I'd say the one exception would be Boonville. I think that was, you know, a 20-point game there, but for the most part, they've been in the games that they've played when they've played top-level teams.
Yeah, they're very competitive. They don't quit. They keep fighting, and you know, even when they come out just a little behind, they never quit, and you can really see the commitment they have.
No doubt. So we're coming down here almost the start of the second half, and again, Clinton will be taking on Hogan Prep. That'll be coming up next after this one. And this game, I think the first 5 minutes, as we always say, going to be very important. And I think if one team can come out here firing quick and take advantage of these first 5 to 10 minutes, it's going to be very important.
I agree. You know, if you pull ahead in the second half, there's a lot of mental effect to that too. You know, when you go in at halftime and you're playing with them and you're, you know, a 1 point spread, you really feel pretty good about it. But then if, you know, 2 minutes from now you're down by 6 or 8 or 10, boy, that'll just break you, you know, and it's really hard to feel good about it, you know, at that point in the ball game. So,
right,
you know, and either team is in that position right now. You know, either one of them could come out here and make a good adjustment that just gives them a good run.
Sure. Yeah, so it's going to be interesting to see how it plays out. So we are ready to go. Odessa will have possession, trailing by 1. Moody, who had that good first half, she'll set it up for King left side. They're going to go that matchup zone. They try to front the post there. You can see it's kind of a 2-3 matchup, but, I mean, they're just denying that high post area. I mean, Cora Perry just, I mean, she's not even facing the guard. I mean, she's got her back completely turned, and that's what you call fronting the post right there. I mean, they're like, we are not going to let you catch this basketball at all, and they do not want them to throw that high-low backdoor pass is what that's designed to do. Set a little back screen there. Good look inside, and getting caught too far out of the basket was Perry, and Odessa quickly back the other way. Here's Morris on the dribble drive, is going to draw the foul on the floor. So Morris led the way offensively. She had 9. Westfall ended up with 9 as well for Warrensburg. So those were the 2 top scorers in the first half. And Morris will throw it in down on the low baseline. Well, that's a tough fit, though, but nice job by Tori Golden. Gets the finish in traffic. And Odessa back up by 1. Westfall at the head of the key, and you know Odessa, they got to be looking at where she's at, because she's the one that really got them the lead back. She hit those 2 threes there right at the end of the first half, and here's a bad pass from Warrensburg. Is going to lead to a turnover. So Odessa with the football. Think you got football on the mind. Basketball back. Football on the mind because Super Bowl Sunday coming up.
That's right. We might need to talk to Mr. Abner about a girls' football team here at Clinton.
Yeah. As they get it inside. Shot is good. That's a nice look and a tough shot for Bregman. And it goes for 2. So 3-point lead. Odessa has extended it out. 6:20 left here in the third. They go inside middle post. Westfall backdoor pass. Good fit into Perry. Bucket good, and she's fouled. So a good job by Warrensburg. That time they get the high-low look, and it's exactly how you draw it up. Nobody was with her on the baseline, and they found her. So Perry cuts it back to 1, looking for a 3-point play, and that's the first foul of the night on Lexi Moody. And the free throw is good, so 3-point play.
That'll bring us to a tie.
Yeah, this game here, I mean, these two teams evenly matched, and this is a totally different situation than when they played back on the 10th. Warrensburg won big. There they get the trap and just nowhere to go. King, well, they said that was knocked off of Warrensburg last. Really looked like King dribbled it off of her foot, but they're going to give it back to Odessa. King looking to get it in near boundary. That time they tried to throw it to the high post, but Warrensburg fronting. Oh, and they give it right back. Golden sitting there at midcourt. So that time they forced him into the pass that Warrensburg wants him to make, and that's that high post pass because they're denying the post up top. And, Odessa, they thought they could sneak one by him, but Warrensburg said nope, but then they gave it right back, and now Morris underneath will be throwing it in here. Tied up, and now trying to give Odessa the lead is King, and she will. Abby King from downtown. 26-23, Odessa back on top. Westfall in the corner. She's their primary shooter from long range. Crossover for Misner, and a foul is called.
Number 4, Abby King with the foul.
King picks up number 2.
Her second, team second.
2 team fouls apiece now, and we've got Warrensburg ball on the near boundary. Cora Perry to throw it in. And Misner up top with it. Got to stay out of that corner and tried to reverse back. She knew she was going right into the double team and tried to come back out and is fouled.
Foul number 4, Abby King, her third.
King number 3, so she gets 2 quick ones there. She's going to have to come out of the ball game for Coach Florence's team. Misner, head of the circle, Lady Tigers trying to come back underneath and losing the handle. Perry, and Morris did not see Harrison, who steals it and scores it. The stealth steal for Harrison, 26-25. 1-point lead for Odessa. We've got Ermshire back in the game, and she's got a height advantage down there. She had her minutes limited a little bit, though, due to some foul trouble in that first half. Trying to get her the ball on the offensive end. There you can see down there number 40 in white trying to deny the post. Working hard down there, too.
You're right. She's not looked at the ball once. She's looking directly into the face.
Yeah.
Of the girl she's defending, and not once looking at the ball.
Yeah, and of course, Ermshire 40 down there, too, as well, denying down in the low post as they going to call a jump ball here as Westfall tied up, so it'll be possession arrow in favor of Warrensburg. Armstrong in the corner to Westfall, coming up on 4 minutes left here in the ball game. Shot off the window, no good. Ball loose on the deck, and we're going to get a timeout called. So Warrensburg knew that they were in trouble, and Coach Stamberski getting a timeout there. So timeout sponsor, Missouri Farm Bureau Insurance Agent Aaron Collins. I want to thank Aaron for his support of the broadcast here tonight, and of course all the way through the tournament and in the regular season as well. I think we've got a few more Lakeland games coming up after we get past the tournament, and then maybe a couple Montrose broadcasts as well. So Lakeland, of course, will get right back into WeMo Conference play after this tournament is over with. I think pretty much all of Lakeland's games will be against WeMo Conference opponents.
You know, we're still a 1-point game here, and the girls have just gone back and forth since halftime. You know, I'm still waiting to see that breakout from one team or the other, and both of them are just refusing to give. So a really, really good defensive game going on here in the second half.
Odessa breaks the press. And there's a foul outside as Moody trying to skip the ball, but foul was called beforehand. Harrison picks up the foul. That'll be her third personal. Both teams 3 team fouls apiece right now. But Moody and Morris have been quiet, though, for Odessa. They have not been able to get him the ball there. They tried to get it to Morris, but she lost it. And it's going to be a jump ball in favor of the Lady Tigers. Westfall for Perry. Out of Misner, coming up on 3 minutes left, and now a travel. Boy, Misner not happy with the call. She thought she was fouled, but they called a walk, and here comes King back into the game for Odessa. So she'll have to be a little careful as she has 3 fouls. Oh, and a bad pass. King throws it away off the inbounds as Misner getting the steal, and now we get another foul. I don't know that we've gone a full minute, Stacy, here without a foul. It's kind of the flow to the game has come to a screeching halt right now. But it is a close game, so these fouls definitely could be a factor. And we're already coming up here on the bonus, potentially. Well, I mean, Odessa is still with 4 and 3, so I guess it feels like we've had a few more fouls even than we already have. But
well,
7 total, that's still quite a bit.
Then you mix the jump ball calls in there.
Right.
And we're just stopping play over and over and over again.
Exactly. So there's a good pass, and they missed the shot, though. And I think you got a little bit too deep under the basket there. Hill just, you catch that and you look up, and the rim's right there. And you're like, oh, I can't. I just can't get an angle to shoot that off the glass. It's an open 3 for King, and it goes down. So the first 3-pointer in a long time in this game for both teams. And that's a big one. That gives Odessa a 29-25 lead. And now the bucket good. Quick answer, though, for Westfall. And she's into double figures for Warrensburg now with 11. Timeout, Odessa. So Coach Florence will talk it over here with his team. And again, we want to thank Primitive Old Crow, Oak Star Bank, Landmark Restaurant, Jim Resick Auto Group, Hankins Grain, Farm Bureau Insurance Agent Aaron Collins, C-Squared Embroidery Screen Printing, Hobby Time Motorsports, and Bernard Tax and Bookkeeping. Streaming live, 6 platforms as well. So check us out on James Hinkle Sounds Like Video, Facebook, YouTube, Radford Media Group YouTube page as well. Want to thank the El Dorado Springs Chamber of Commerce for letting us stream on their Facebook, Landmark Restaurant Facebook, as well, and C-squared embroidery screen printing, and Primitive Old Crow as well. King out high for Odessa out of the timeout. Florence over there, the head coach for Odessa. You know, he probably tried to draw something up, and they're really looking to get the ball. There you can see 24 for Odessa calling for it. And right now they're not able to front her, but they can't get her the ball. They go back door to Moody on the back cut, and a foul is called.
Foul number 35 for Perry.
So Perry picks that one up. That's where if I'm Odessa, I'm moving, you know, you'd probably be tempted to move Morris to the wing, you know.
You know, you kind of got to try anything to get her open right now.
I mean, it's just, if you're not, I mean, right there, I know they want her to catch the ball right there in that spot, but to let her get the jump shot, it gets her, you know, right there where she can catch and shoot that mid-range shot. But, you know, I'm moving her out to the wing, and you know, she's got to be able to move and get the ball out there and then try to drive to the high post. But there they get a nice bucket underneath. Tori Golden with the strong finish, and it's 27-31. Odessa adds to it, and it tipped inside, but Hill, good job, stays with it and gets the finish. So 31-29, long pass to the other side, and the bucket is good. So there they found Morris as she was behind the defense, and I think that's her first basket here in the second half. And it is. So she now is into double figures with 11. Tip pass out there is knocked out of bounds, and it's going to be off of Warrensburg. Coming up on the 1 minute mark here in the third quarter. Mahela Lewis there into the game. Try to get it to Moody. She slides on the floor. They said it was tipped.
Yeah,
Coach
Warrensburg coach looking for the backcourt ball.
She not happy with the call for sure. Oh, Morris falls down. Foul is called. Yeah, I guess she was arguing there it wasn't tipped, but official did give the tip signal. He thought it was, so to no avail, they say. The argument to no avail. But they will be throwing it in underneath here with 37.5, so they got plenty of time to get a shot. They go out top instead of underneath. Oh, near steal, but Golden has it back. Deep three, Moody missed it. Rebound to the Lady Tigers, and there's a walk, no doubt.
She's still thinking about what to do with it.
She was. You know, she looked at that basket and said, you know, I'd kind of like to just not dribble and see if I can walk to the other end, and maybe they'll let me have it. But
I'm not sure. Does Warrensburg have lacrosse?
Unfortunately, it's not the case. But they probably would have had a bucket there because they had the numbers. They certainly had the numbers. So Nelson up top. The high post, that's where she wants it, but missed that shot. And then a rebound knocked into the corner. Well, Westfall had it, but had it knocked away. Well, they let him play there, and there's a foul. Spoke too soon. I think the officials this is one of those games that are so hard to officiate because, you know, there's no rhythm and no flow, and it's tough on the officials because, you know, but as Westfall misses there at the end of the quarter, but obviously you just can't let everything go. But there was a case there, I think they let a couple go that they would have called earlier because they know the fouls are kind of creeping up there. So after three quarters, it's 33-29, Odessa with a slight lead. And the final 8 minutes coming up here in just a few minutes. Don't forget, we still got one more game coming up. Clinton, the 3 seed, will be taking on Hogan Prep, the 6 seed. And that will be the final game of day 2 and the final first round game as well. So we'll start the semifinals tomorrow for the girls. First game will be tomorrow at 4:30. That'll be Nevada against the winner of this game. And then, of course, the winner of the one coming up will play Adrian tomorrow at 6. And James Hinkle, we're saying, well, we're crossing our fingers is what we're doing. We don't want any weather to come in.
Weather, yeah.
But we'll have to wait and see. You know, Missouri weather, you just never know. Maybe it'll be sunny and 85. I don't know they'll be that far off, but
well,
I do know it's about to be spring-like temperatures by the weekend. I think they're calling for 60 degrees on Super Bowl Sunday.
well, I know that I have about 20 tax returns sitting on my desk waiting for me to get done. So about the time I'm stuck in the office, the weather usually gets really
Great,
nice outside.
Great time of year, isn't it, here in Missouri?
It's here.
Tax season and winter weather. Couldn't be better. So we're ready to start the fourth quarter. 33-29. So Odessa, they've been able to just do slightly enough. But Warrensburg just a couple shots away from having the lead back. Moody missed the 3-ball. I mean, Odessa hadn't shot it very well, but Warrensburg hadn't either, and we've had a lot of fouls as well. But there's a nice-looking shot. A little reverse bucket for Perry. 33-31. 3-ball, quick look, and Morris doesn't draw iron. Back to Warrensburg. But I mean, bottom line, the offense runs through Nelson and Moody. I mean, those are the two that, they're the only two that they know have got to be able to score. And that's where if you're Warrensburg defensively, you can just kind of sit back, try to take them away. There's a nice play by Golden to get the steal. So another turnover for the Lady Tigers. They're up to 15 now on the night. Here comes Nelson. Morris, rather. Good move. Missed the shot, though. Just couldn't quite finish. So she just has 2 points here in the second half. She had 9 in the first half. Acrobatic shot. Boy, off balance was Misner. Lucky she didn't hurt herself. That was a hard fall, but bounces right back up. King in trouble. I don't know where she's going, but she's on the baseline out of bounds. So that'll give it back to Warrensburg. That's where you just got to stay out of those traps. You've got to get the ball to the middle of the floor. When you take that ball to the boundary, you're just playing right into the defense. I mean, that makes that trap so much easier.
And the Warrensburg team is very effective with it here tonight.
Yeah, they are. They are. And here's a 2. Feet were on the line, and it's good. And that is Harrison. So that'll tie it at 33. Coming down the home stretch here in the fourth quarter. Skip pass, King for 3, and the lead, and she got it. So big one there. Abby King, couple threes for her on the night. She's got 9, 36-33 in favor of Odessa. Trying to get a little revenge here after losing to this Warrensburg team back in early January, 63-48. Westfall missing. Nice rebound by Golden, and they got numbers here. 2-on-2. Morris missing, though. Oh, but they get a nice save. Good offensive rebound by Morris to keep that alive. And now Moody losing the basketball, but a foul beforehand. Hand check foul on Warrensburg. Going to give that to Westfall, her second. Team foul 7 on the Lady Tigers. So Moody to the line, 5'4" sophomore guard. Moody was 6 tonight in the ball game for Odessa. Got the first. So Moody 2 for 2, so that makes it 38-33, and free throws, I think, definitely going to play a factor here in the final 5:18. Quick push here for Warrensburg. Oh, there was a walk, but they called the foul. I think that was a walk on Hill, but they didn't call it. But she's able to be in the act of shooting, and she'll be at the line. And Hill missing the first. And here's where this is a big spot for Warrensburg, because you've got to try to cut down this lead when the clock is stopped. So every missed free throw is critical at this point. Hill got the second, so 38-34. Odessa with the slight lead. 4:46 left in the ball game. Well, and Moody picks up her dribble. Big mistake there. And she was fortunate that pass was tipped, but just kind of threw that one up for grabs, and Warrensburg just couldn't get to it. But you just can't kill your dribble that far away from the basket. Now off the inbound, here's a steal. Big turnover forced for Warrensburg. We'll see if they can take advantage of it. Trying to get that ball inside, but forced it, and it's knocked out. They're going to say last touch. Ooh, baseline official is going to say Warrensburg, so he overrules the baseline official.
Number 22, and number 4, Adrian.
Running those back cuts, but they're going to take a three, so they settle for the three, and it works. Harrison hits it, and it's a one-point game. Big shot there, just the third three of the night for Warrensburg. 3-2 matchup zone here. Backdoor, oh my gosh, King had a wide open shot, but she wasn't even looking at the basket, and brings it back out, and then turns it over. I mean, King, she could have gone up and shot that, Stacy. She was wide open, but just kind of panicked a little bit and kicked it back out. But they just had the perfect pass against the defense. I mean, there was nobody down there, and Warrensburg got lost big time on defense. But it ends up going back to Warrensburg. Foul committed there, so that's number 4 on Golden. And the first free throw is good for Sadie Misner.
So back to free throws again.
That's right. Yeah, it'll come. This one's coming down to free throws, no doubt. At this point, tied at 38, 3:44 left. Misner got them both. So Warrensburg back up by 1. Now they come with the full court pressure. Odessa able to get it across. And now they're going to call a foul. See, that's a foul you just got to let go. I mean, I'm sorry. That is way too tight. They're falling back in that half court pressure, and I mean, that's going to play into Odessa's hands, because it's kind of like what we saw last night. They call it pretty tight, and that it benefits the offense, because they know they just drive right at you.
Absolutely.
They're basically not going to let you do any kind of just a body, base up. There's a difference between that and a hand check, and I think some officials tend to lean more towards that hand check foul out on the perimeter, especially in this modern era of basketball, because everybody shoots the three, so a lot of people now feel the offense has the advantage. And the rules, as they say, can kind of be slanted towards the offense, so they tend to kind of want to even it out by calling it tighter out on the perimeter to try to prevent some more threes. I don't know. That may be a conspiracy theory, but that's just my opinion. But here we get another foul, and it's coming out to the free throw line, and I believe they got that on Westfall. King at the line. I'm not sure who they got that foul on there for Warrensburg. They haven't put it up on the board yet. First one is good for King. So 41-39. Odessa leading. Second one no good. Good hustle by Misner to get the rebound. So 3:20 to go. This is anybody's ball game right now. And Warrensburg, they just can't hit the big three. They've gone cold. They've had a tough time getting the ball to Westfall. There they get it to her in the lane, and she'll score it. And they've got to get the ball to her. I mean, there's no question because she's got 13 on the night and has shot the ball pretty well from long range, but did most of that damage in the first half. And here's a nice drive by Morris. Couldn't get it to go.
You know, both of these teams, I'm just so impressed with the defense. Both ends of the court, they are really shutting the other side offense down. You know, whether it's the three-point shots out or the tight post position, there's just nowhere to go offensively for either team.
Passing lanes are very restricted. So Warrensburg taking clock down right now. And I think this just has more to do with that defense, as Stacy said there. And look at this, another steal. That's a big one. Odessa looking for the lead, and that's a foul right there for sure. As Bregman is hammered there, so she's going to be going to the line, trying to break the tie. So double bonus for Odessa. Warrensburg is in the bonus. And we may have several free throw shot here in the final 2:06 because they've called a lot of fouls as it is, and now you've got both teams in a bonus. One, of course, in a double bonus. Is the first free throw good for Begman? Second one good. 2-point lead for Odessa. 2 minutes to go. Still looking in the post. Oh, Ermshire wide open down there. Missed her. Number 40 in white. Couldn't get it into the post, and now the ball goes into the backcourt. And Odessa gets the ball, so a turnover. Big one there for Warrensburg, and now they get a steal. Oh, they got it back initially, and then it's knocked free out of bounds. And who is this going to be off of? They're going to say last touch by Odessa, and man, Odessa, they missed an opportunity right there. That would have been a big steal. I think if you can get it to a 4 or 5 point lead, the team that can get that may have a little bit of an advantage. You know, that may be just enough. So we've got a timeout on the floor here. This will be a full timeout. I want to thank Missouri Farm Bureau insurance agent Aaron Collins for sponsoring our basketball tonight, our timeout sponsor. So right now you just got to protect the basketball, Stacy, and really talk about free throws because there's going to be a bunch of them. And now you're in a spot where, you know, it's too early to maybe foul intentionally, and obviously you wouldn't want to do that if you're Warrensburg because of the bonus situation. In other words, you don't have any fouls to give, and so everything from here on out is a free throw, and that's where you really would only foul early if you had some fouls to give at this point. But because they've called so many, you know, it did not take long to get in the bonus here in this fourth quarter.
Absolutely.
So that changes the strategy a little bit for both coaches because you can't just foul immediately, but whoever's going to hit their free throws is going to win this game. And really both teams have done a pretty good job shooting the basketball from the line. They've actually both been a little bit more efficient than they have from the line than they have shooting from mid-range or from three tonight. Here's a three attempt, big shot, but that missed. And it's tipped out, and that should be off Warrensburg. Oh, my, they're going to give this to.
I can't believe that.
Gosh.
Wow.
Yeah, they missed that. They missed that. That was clearly off Misner, it looked like. Yeah, Coach Florence, boy, he said a little something to the official, but not, you know, he didn't say as much as I thought he was initially. But, man, I just don't know. I think they just didn't see that one. But it happens, and obviously high school refs, you know, they don't have the luxury of review. You know, they can't come over to the scores table like the NBA guys can. I think they even have review now in college where they can review certain plays. I think you can actually challenge plays now in the NBA as well as a coach. But first free throw good for Hill. So that's a big one. That gets it back to 43-42. This for the tie with a 1:03 mark on the clock. So 2 big ones there. But, you know, if you're Odessa, you got to feel like you should have had the ball on a play where it was tipped out, looked like off Warrensburg. They gave the ball back to Warrensburg, and then a foul was committed. So we got a tie game, timeout on the floor. So now if you're Warrensburg, I think obviously you go full court pressure in this situation. You try to get the steal initially.
The pressure seems to be working for them right now. That's for sure. They've been able to really, really contain Odessa.
New guy down there. New head coach.
So it'll be interesting to see how they come out of here and what's going on after the timeout. You know, I don't know. I mean, again, we're going to look at the free throws. We're going to see who hits and who misses, I think, to decide this game.
Yeah, it's going to come down to that. There's no doubt. And I think right now, Odessa, you got to be strong with the ball because you know you're going to get fouled. You know they're probably going to have to foul it after they get it past midcourt. Now, you may go for the steal initially. But this will be an interesting situation. But again, double bonus for Odessa, so they're automatic 2 shots from here on out. Yeah, so they back off. That's interesting. They're just going to fall back into the half-court defense. If I'm Odessa, you just take clock here.
Absolutely. You know, you just got to hit the shot at the last minute.
Yeah,
that's all you need
That's
now.
the thing. This is a tough call. Do you go for the quick score? But they appear to be playing for overtime. Well, now they're going to call a timeout. So Coach Florence will be taking one here. That's a good timeout because it gives you an opportunity to draw something up and get a set. That's where you want to get a set play coming out of this inbounds look. But yeah, they definitely were confused because you could tell they didn't know. So that's where you just got to say, hey, this is what we got to run, and you got to go towards the basket. I don't know. I think you got to play for the win. I think if you're Odessa right here, you take the shot, you get the shot you want, but you better get a shot, and then you take your chance at the other end. You know, if I'm Odessa, I definitely take a 2, and then make Warrensburg have to come down and tie or win it.
You know, I agree, and I am a little bit worried if I'm Odessa about that 3-point shot from Warrensburg because they've been able to hit a few of those tonight.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I think at this point you're right. You just got to get your points on the board and then rely on your defense. And I got to say, this last half of the ball game, defense has been on for both teams.
And no doubt, watch Moody and Morris for Odessa. They're going to want them to have a touch here. Kind of interesting that Morris is going to be throwing the ball in here. So she'll have to come back on the floor and get open. But this play may be run for Moody. They may have it set up for number 30 in black. So they get it in. Moody's got it right there up top. 34 seconds. They've got some time here. Now they're going to get it inside. Golden. Oh, they let it go. Oh, my. They don't. And Coach Florence is furious. Westfall bucket is good. 18 seconds to go. Odessa still has time. 2-point lead for Warrensburg. They hurry the other way. They will call a foul now after that. Well, they get the steal. I was going to say.
Oh, wow.
I'll tell you what, Stacy. Had Odessa been able to get a shot off, they were calling a foul.
Absolutely.
Because that last call, Coach Florence thinks they blew that one. And that's one of those things, though. You know, I'll tell you, some officials have the approach. Look, we'll call it tight, but at the end, we're basically swallow the whistle. You know, we're not going to call it. And that official just made the decision. He had a good angle, and so Coach Florence, his team, definitely not happy with the call. And it's one of those deals. You're under the basket. You're at an angle. From our vantage point, it was tough to tell on that.
Sure,
honestly, I
sure.
mean, you can't make a judgment call either way. You've got to be certainly respectful of the official decision there, and that's one of those cases. It's tough, though. I mean, when you're on the receiving end of it and it's not your when it's just a tough situation all the way around. And Warrensburg, though, did a good job of not panicking and getting that ball down the floor. And you got to give credit to Westfall to get that basket with all that chaos there.
That's right.
And then they were also able to get that rebound. Yeah, now we've got a Odessa fan who's upset right now. They may have to remove him from the gym. I think they've given him a warning. But he was jawing with the official, and now we get a
call of travel.
No, I think they got the timeout to Odessa. I think before the.
Did they give him the timeout
I think
before the travel?
Yeah, I think they did.
All
did.
right.
Yeah, so that was close though. It was very, very close to being a travel for sure. But here's where, if you're Odessa on defense, you're still in this game. I mean, it's still a 2-point game. You know, you have to kind of put that behind you. You know, and it's tough because they certainly feel like they got rooked on. You know, you go back to that play that we thought was off of Warrensburg.
Absolutely.
Where they gave the ball to Warrensburg. Odessa certainly was upset already about a previous call, and then you had that situation happen as well. So,
you know, things that when it's not a single possession game, you might have been upset about for a few minutes and moved on.
Sure.
When that could be the difference between a tie game or a win versus a loss, it becomes a lot more important to you then.
Exactly, and that's where it's a tough situation. Coaches are obviously heated. Fans are heated. It's a close game. You know, it certainly is a big call because it's such a close game. And so here we go. Odessa still has a chance, though. Down by 2, they get it in, get a good look. Shot up, no, and that's going to do it. So time runs out. They had a couple looks there, but just couldn't get an open look. Warrensburg, good job as they get the 2-point win and a crazy, crazy finish. 45-43 as Warrensburg defeats Odessa in a game that literally came down to the final possession. Good night for Westfall. For Warrensburg, she actually ended up hitting the game-winning basket as well tonight for them. She finished with 13, 9 on the night for Harrison, 2 for Misner, and 8 in the ball game for Grace Hill. Good night for Morris as well for Odessa. She finished with 11. They ended up getting 10 in the ball game tonight from Bregman, and then 6 for Moody, 4 for Golden, but it just wasn't quite enough as it is Warrensburg advancing to the winner's bracket, and they will meet Nevada tomorrow at 4:30 in the first girls winner's bracket battle. Quite a game, Stacy.
I'm telling you, either one of these teams can be my defensive coach. I'm just really impressed. And that, you know, girls, you tend to see a lot of offense from them. They really work the ball. The strategy is offensive. But these two, this was all defense. And both teams did a great job on defense.
Yeah, they really, really did. It was one of those good old-fashioned low-scoring games where the defense kind of took priority. Neither team could pull away at all. And, you know, neither team really shot it that well. But Warrensburg, to their credit, it really came down to 2 plays there at the end, and they were able to make both of them.
Absolutely. One more time, that list of sponsors: Primitive Old Crow, Oak Star Bank, the Landmark Restaurant, Jim Rasick Auto Group, Hankins Grain, Aaron Bureau at Missouri Farm Bureau Insurance, C-Squared Embroidery and Screen Printing, Primitive Old Crow again as one of our broadcast partners here. Check out their Facebook page to find the live stream games. Also, Hobby Time Motorsports, Bernard Tax and Bookkeeping. And again, remember those live stream sponsors: C-Squared Embroidery and Screen Printing, Primitive Old Crow, the Landmark Restaurant, Sounds Like Videos, Radford Media Group, El Dorado Springs Chamber of Commerce. Check it out. Find it on the Facebook pages there, and also YouTube for Sounds Like Videos and Radford Media Group. And we're going to cut away here for just a few minutes as we change out games and change out teams here, and we'll be back in about, I would say, 10 minutes for Clinton versus Hogan Prep here tonight to round out night 2 of the Clinton basketball tournament. Thanks very much for staying with us.